Hey, what's up? I'm at Alum Springs Park in Fredericksburg, and it's about 2 miles south of the historic, the downtown area. And just gonna take a walk around the trail. It's about a mile loop, wraps around, and yeah, big playground for kids. And up there you've got bathrooms, vending machines, and the actual trail starts down here. So, and of course I'm here to go over some of the history. And yeah, it was pretty neat coming in. You actually drive through the creek. Yeah, there's about, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches of water flowing across the road coming in there. So, and to let you know, this area, it's about 34 acres. It was purchased by the city in 1965. 1968 it opened it as a park. And yeah, hopefully this comes out good with the GoPro. But yeah, and this is Hazel Run Creek that leads into the Rappahannock, and it's about 7 miles long. Starts out in Spotsylvania, and oh yeah, there's a car going through it right there, and yeah, they hit it pretty good. Yeah, so Hazel Run Creek that flows into the Rappahannock, it enters just south of Lower Caroline Street, kind of right across from Ferry Farm, George Washington's boyhood home. So, little bridge that goes across, but that's just to enter. And yeah, trails over here. And just to let you know, it's free, the park admission. So, and this place was first, I'll tell you, it was used by Native Americans for its clay deposits along the creek. And apparently the creek used to flow a lot stronger because there were actually some grist mills that used it. And I can't imagine what I'm seeing right there is yeah, strong enough to push anything. But yeah, so then it was first written about by William Byrd. He's the founder of Richmond. He's the one that owns Westover Plantation down there off the James River. It's kind of between Richmond and Williamsburg. And I've got a video on it from way back. You should go check it out. Yeah, so he wrote about it. He had visited Fredericksburg, and a couple miles outside of the city, he had found some springs with alum coming out. And alum, it was referred to as the sediment that would come that was left over from the spring. Like if you ever see kind of the pink, yellow, white sediment, yeah, they referred to it as alum, and they thought it had therapeutic benefits. So yeah, the trail is kind of not marked very well. I think that just kind of breaks off to the creek, and I probably shouldn't have picked a Sunday to come. There's going to be kind of a handful of people out here walking, but yeah, so Hazel Run right there. So William Byrd first wrote about this place, and then after Fredericksburg was incorporated as a city, 1728, George Washington actually surveyed it, and that probably would have been in the late 1740s, early 1750s, because that's about the time he was a surveyor. And so after he surveyed, the land was purchased by his brother-in-law, Fielding Lewis, who owns Kenmore, a big plantation downtown Fredericksburg, and he was married to Betty Washington, like I say, George's sister. And yeah, so he owned the property. I know he had a grist mill, an ice house, and a little further down Hazel Run, he had opened an armory during the Revolutionary War. That's kind of what he was most famous for. And it's kind of near where the old Walker Grant School is, if anybody's familiar with the area, kind of near Route 2. Walker Grant was kind of the old black high school, I guess, way back when. And yeah, there's a lot of trails breaking off, but it looks like this is kind of the main trail. So let's see, throughout the years, it was also owned by John Marie, who Marie's Heights are named after, important bluffs that were used during the Battle of Fredericksburg. He also owned Brompton Estate, the big estate up there. I don't think you can visit that, but yeah, big estate up there with a bunch of blowholes in it. And yeah, throughout the years, there have been one time there's a distillery here. Also, this guy Charles Mortimer, I've mentioned him when I did a video on Lower Caroline Street. He owned that area, and he helped really get it developed. He was the first mayor of Fredericksburg, like I say, doctor, and he used this to practice. Yeah, cause like I say, spring water therapeutic. And there's a lost dog out here. So and this area is most famous for its sandstone cliffs. There are these giant cliffs up ahead. I believe they're about 40 feet high, 400 feet long, and yeah, they've been here for millions of years. So also, I had read, there's a guy down there with this kid, and I'm gonna go with this. Oh, all right. That ice house I had mentioned, site of historic ice house here, 1800s, and I don't. Fielding Lewis died, I believe, in the late 1700s. So I don't know if this was his ice house, but yeah, several people have had mills out here over the years, and yeah, ice house obviously was down in this pit, and you can see some stones down there kind of surrounding it. And for anybody not familiar, an ice house was where you stored ice. When the creek would freeze over during the winter, they would cut out blocks, and they would basically store them in a covered pit, usually 12, 15, 18 feet deep. They would wrap them in straw and sawdust, and yeah, that way they would have ice for the summer. And all right, continue this way, and I'm starting to see some rocks, and we're also kind of up on a bluff here, so maybe kind of getting toward the maybe I should have walked down there, maybe, I don't know, some cliffs over there, but I'll just keep walking. And also, it was said that during the Battle of Fredericksburg, hundreds of citizens who had fled the city took refuge here. Also, there were a couple Civil War Confederate reunions in the 1880s that were held here. And all right, some people down there. I'm just gonna walk down here. Just kind of a little break off right here. And I've got hiking shoes, but they're pretty old. They don't have all that great of tread. All right, it's probably better I came down here, and I don't know if these are the cliffs. I'm not sure if they're high enough. Oh, and the actual spring is supposed to be coming out the right side of the cliffs, and like I say, I don't know if these are the right cliffs. A bunch of handprints up there. So my objective is to find the site of some of the older mills and find the big cliffs. Yeah, sun's starting to come out. Oh, also wanted to apologize. I put a video out the other day on Hanover Street, and I kind of regret I should have done another walkthrough. I had a lot going on that day, and I left out a lot of information, and the whole thing was kind of rushed. But yeah, anyway, I'm still gonna walk this way. Oh, and something else interesting, I can tell you that this was a popular site for duels in the late 1700s, early 1800s. And I can tell you in 1803, might have been 1804, there was a big duel between William Thornton and if anybody who knows their Fredericksburg history, I've mentioned it a few times, the Thorntons, a big family in the area. They were the first English settlers of the area in Falls Hill, just west of the city. If you cross over Route 1, family owned that for many generations. I think we're getting into cliffs. They also own Thornton Mill, which was pretty much the first mill on the Rappahannock. Kind of cool looking rock right there. And not as young as I used to be. Let me see if I can climb on there. Yeah, and there's also Thornton Tavern off Sophia Street, which is the oldest still existing building in the city. So he got into a duel with Francis Fitzhugh Conway, and I'll throw out some Fitzhughs. It pretty much seems like every video in this area I do mentions them. And hold on. All right. Yeah, it's probably a, I don't know how deep that is. It looks like it's got a little depth, but probably good jumping in there. Yeah, so Francis Fitzhugh Conway, Fitzhugh's big family. Let's say they built Chatham Manor, a place called Eagle's Nest, Sherwood Forest in Stafford, a place up in Alexandria. So yeah, big family in the area, owned a ton of land throughout the Northern Neck. The Conways, I could tell you Eustace Conway, if you just watched my last video, like I say, on Hanover Street. He owned the property at 401 Hanover Street, prominent attorney in the area, and his nephew was Moncure Conway. Had a place off River Road there just in Falmouth, right on the other side of the river. Famous abolitionist, famous writer. He wrote the biography of Nathaniel Hawthorne. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, they got into a duel. And the story goes there was a celebration one night at Chatham Manor, and they were cousins. And they were trying to impress James Madison's niece. Her name was Nellie Madison. So I forgot which of the two, but one of them had outfitted their horse with a fancy bridle to impress her at the end of the night. And at some point throughout the evening, the other had replaced the bridle with a less desirable one. He got upset, and of course the other one denied this happening, got into an argument, and they agreed on a duel. So they came out here, and yeah, they both fired at the same time, shot each other in the belly, and they both died. So kind of a crazy story. So let's see if I can jump over here. All right, and I'm thinking these might be, yeah, these have got to be the cliffs. Yeah, like I say, 40 feet coming up from the creek, 400 feet long. Sandstone, these have been here for millions of years. And pretty neat place to just come hang out, I guess. All right, something else I had read, I'll throw it out there while I'm walking. There's actually a railroad that ran through here, or right next to it. It was the Fredericksburg, Potomac, Piedmont line. It was completed around 1870, and it ran to Gordonsville, the capital of Orange at the time. And it was in use until, I want to say it said 1938. So kind of interesting. And you always see these little smoothed out rocks around the river bends. Oh, all right, maybe I'll go down here. Like I say, this is about a mile loop, so there's not all that much to it. Like I said, I just want to find out. I just want to find these mills, and then I'll be good to go. Yeah. Walk up here. Another random note while I'm still walking is that the millstones from one of these mills was purchased by Gary Melchers He's the artist that owns Belmont over there, giant mansion in Falmouth, and he had brought some of the stones to his residence over there. Yeah, so this can, if you hit a lot of these, if you hit some of these break-offs, it's going to be more than a mile hike. Oh, Route 1 down there. There's some people down there. Alright. I'm thinking eventually this is going to shoot back onto a trail. Alright, placard over here. Building a railroad through the stream valley. Okay, so yeah, it looks like this embankment was created. It looks like this was the rail line. This trail here, like I said, that had gone down to Gordonsville, and yeah, that's when this whole embankment was created. And 2 rows of large stones because the embankment started to fall away. All right. Anyway, so I found a map on my phone. It wasn't that good. It looked like it was hand drawn, but that Gristmill was actually off of one of the offshoots way over by the ice house, and it looks like I can cut across through here to get there, and this is going to take me to the top of those cliffs. Oh, and one other thing I had read, that during the Revolutionary War, prisoners from the Battle of Trenton were actually held here. And Battle of Trenton, featuring George Washington. That was the big crossing of the Delaware River. George Washington involved, James Monroe, Hugh Mercer. All right, I think the parking lot was kind of up there. Okay, overlook over here. Alright, I need to be careful. Like I say, slick shoes. Ooh, yeah, that wouldn't be good, falling off that. Nice breeze up here. Oh, I don't think I'm supposed to be walking in this area. Hop this fence. I remember passing this earlier. I'm keeping my eyes out for signs. Maybe this was a sign. It's not here anymore. A passport. Okay, I found it, and I'd actually walked by it. Yeah, I decided to backtrack because I knew it had to be back here somewhere. And yeah, so the Gristmill, 1750s, 1860s, and I'm guessing maybe this ditch was built to power the mill. But just walk up here real quick. few large stones down there. But anyway, all right, yeah, big embankment. All right, well, there you go. Gristmill, I don't know if it was right there and the wheel was here, or anyway, so all right, I think I've knocked everything out, so I'm not going to fly my drone. Like I say, there's kind of no real need to, so guess I'm going to get out of here and see you on the next one.